Imagine influencing wars across an entire region without officially fighting a single one. Imagine having allies in 5 different countries who follow your strategy, use your weapons, and advance your goals, all while your own soldiers stay home. That is exactly what Iran has built over the last 4 decades. Iran's military is not small, but Tehran knows that a direct war with the United States, Israel, or Saudi Arabia would be devastating. So, instead of fighting directly, Iran chose a different path. It built a network. A web of armed groups, political movements, and militias spread across the Middle East, each one serving a purpose. This system is called the Axis of Resistance, and understanding it explains almost every major conflict in the region today. So, what exactly is this network? It is a collection of non-state armed groups that Iran funds, trains, arms, and advises. These groups operate in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and beyond. Crucially, they are not puppet armies that blindly follow orders. They have their own leaders, their own politics, and their own local interests. But when their interests align with Iran's, and they usually do, they act together. Iran built this network for 3 specific reasons. The first reason is security. Iran is surrounded by potential enemies, from the American military in the Gulf to Israel. Iran needed a way to deter attacks without triggering a full-scale war it might lose. The second reason is influence. Iran wants to be the dominant power in the Middle East. By having allies in multiple countries, it gains leverage over negotiations and the entire regional order. The third reason is ideology. Since the 1979 revolution, Iran has seen itself as the leader of a resistance movement against Western and Israeli power. Supporting these groups is a core part of that identity. The most powerful piece of this network is Hezbollah, based in Lebanon. Created in the 1980s during Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon, Hezbollah is no longer just a militia. It is a political party and a social services provider with more rockets than most national armies. For Iran, Hezbollah is the crown jewel, sitting directly on Israel's northern border. If a major strike were ever launched against Iran, Hezbollah could retaliate with thousands of missiles. That threat is central to Iran's entire deterrence strategy. In Iraq, Iran's influence runs deep through history. During the chaos following the 2003 American invasion, Iran expanded ties with Iraqi Shia militias. When ISIS rose in 2014, these groups became essential to Iraq's defense, eventually becoming part of the official security structure. Today, groups like Kataib Hezbollah or Asaib al-Haq operate with a strategic dual identity. On one hand, they provide essential social services and security to local Shia populations, making them politically indispensable inside Baghdad. On the other hand, they maintain elite strike units that can target foreign interests at a moment's notice. This gives Tehran a form of remote control over Iraq's security, allowing it to apply pressure on American forces without ever declaring a formal state of war. Iran does not control Iraq, but it has enough influence to block policies it dislikes and use Iraqi territory as a corridor connecting Tehran to Beirut. Syria became critical after 2011, when civil war nearly destroyed the government of Bashar al-Assad. For Iran, Assad's fall would have been catastrophic because Syria is the land bridge to Hezbollah. If you lose Syria, the entire western arm of the network collapses. Iran intervened early, sending money, weapons, and Hezbollah fighters to keep the government in power. This presence is not just about soldiers, it is about infrastructure. Iran has helped build permanent military bases and intelligence centers across Syrian territory, effectively turning the country into a forward operating base against its rivals. By embedding its advisors deep within the Syrian military command, Tehran ensures that even if the political landscape changes, its strategic grip on the land bridge to the Mediterranean remains unbroken. It has secured that critical corridor running from Tehran through Baghdad and Damascus to Beirut. The Houthis in Yemen are perhaps the most surprising part of the network. What started as a local rebel movement turned into a major regional tool. As Saudi Arabia launched a military intervention against them, Iran's support grew, providing drones, missiles, and training. In return, the Houthis gained the ability to strike far beyond Yemen's borders. They became a serious threat to Saudi Arabia and international shipping in the Red Sea. A movement that started as a local insurgency has become a tool of global economic pressure. This is how Iran's strategy works at its core. It doesn't need to send its own soldiers into battle. It uses these groups to apply pressure while maintaining plausible deniability. When a rocket lands in Saudi Arabia or a ship is attacked in the Red Sea, Iran can distance itself from the decision. This approach lets a mid-sized country with a struggling economy punch far above its weight on the global stage. Why does this matter right now? Because this network is not a collection of random accidents. It is a coordinated system. The war in Gaza triggered simultaneous responses from Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen. That is not a coincidence. It is the system being activated. Any confrontation involving Iran would light up every node in this network at once. Iran engineered this power methodically over 40 years. Whether you see it as destabilizing or a defensive necessity, one thing is undeniable. It works. This is not chaos. It is a system. And until the world understands how that system operates, the Middle East will keep surprising those who were never really paying attention.